Thank you. Absolutely. All right. Good morning, guys. Happy Tuesday, rainy Tuesday. But you know, we needed some rain in Southern California. They're real dry. So we're gonna get into it. We got some people coming in. Today we're gonna be doing a stuffed bell pepper with a little rendition of like a jambalaya rice. Not necessarily jambalaya, but we're gonna make a nice little spicy rice to go inside. So I've been eating stuffed bell peppers ever since I was yay high. My grandfather used to make them all the time. He would stuff it with shrimp and crab. He would almost do like a crab custom one and bake it off. So there's different ways that you can do it. There's different kind of bell peppers you can use. I don't like green bell peppers. That's a preference. They're just very bitter. You know what I mean? And they have a lot of water in them, and it's just not a favorite of mine. But I do love a red bell pepper, yellow, orange. So whatever you have at home, you can go ahead and grab that and use. We're also going to be using an onion today. We're not going to be using the whole onion. So if you're at your station, you're going to be splitting your onion with your partner. You're probably going to just be using a quarter of that. Like I said, we're just stuffing one bell pepper today. Okay. You're also going to have 1 tablespoon of tomato paste at your station. And then we have a combination of spices. Okay. So we're going to be using a Cajun spice, which is kind of paprika, red cayenne pepper, garlic pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, parsley flakes, salt and pepper, maybe a little bit of cumin in there. And then we have some garlic powders, paprika, and black pepper that's also with that. This is going to be the seasoning that's going to go onto our rice once we add in our tomato paste and our chicken broth, okay? So also at your station, you're going to have about 4 ounces of chicken breast that's already pre-chopped, okay? If you're looking at home. If you're using chicken thigh, I would say chicken breast for this because it's just a little bit more lean. You don't want to add too much fat. And then we're using a smoked beef sausage. If you have turkey sausage or whatever you want to use at home, andouille sausage would be a great, would be really good to use. So if you have any andouille sausage or turkey sausage, what have you, can go ahead and use that. Okay. So you also have 2 herbs that we're going to use today: thyme, right? You have some thyme sprigs, and you also have some curly leaf parsley. I like to use the curly leaf parsley. I'm not a fan of the flat leaf. I don't know. It just, to me, gets stuck in my tooth. It's just like, I don't know. So I like the curly leaf parsley. We're going to be using that. We have some olive oil that we're going to be brushing onto our bell pepper because we're going to par bake it for a little bit just to get it nice and al dente. And then we also have some chicken broth, about 3 ounces, okay? So let's get into our first step. We're going to deal with our vegetables, so we do any cross-contamination because we're going to have to dice up our sausage today, okay? So with your cutting board, go ahead. We're going to start dicing. Actually, we're going to get the top off of our bell pepper, and we want to make sure we're going to cut it down to where you can stand it up, okay? So if yours is not standing up, it's kind of falling off, you can kind of lightly shave the bottom. And when I mean lightly shave it, I mean you're just going to take off a little bit just so it stands flat. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so just like that, you see? So once you get that top off and that bottom, make sure you get your sticker off too. Give it a quick rinse if you have a sticker on it. And then you're gonna want to sit it up on its side, on the top, and you want to get the inside of the veins out, okay? Now, if you're working with a chef knife, you want to be careful that you don't cut a hole in it because this is going to be like our cone to hold our jambalaya. So you just want to reach in there and twist it out, okay? And take out the inside. It doesn't have to be completely clean, but you want to get as much of the vein off as possible because that's going to create more room for you to stuff it, okay? And then you just want to shake your seeds out, just kind of pop it to the side, get all of that out. Okay, so this is how it should look at home. All right, so you guys have your ovens to your, oh, they're not on, sorry. We should have preheated them, I'm sorry about that. So we're gonna put our ovens on 400 degrees. Janelle's gonna go around and do that for you guys. and you have a sheet tray in front of you, we're gonna lay it upside down, meaning that the opening is gonna be face down on the rack, okay? And we're gonna lightly coat that with some olive oil. Now, you guys don't all have a brush at your station, so we're gonna ask that we be a sharing community today and pass the brushes back so that everybody is able to brush their bell pepper with some olive oil. I'm gonna pass mine along as well. Here you go, Jim. So we're just kind of painting our bell pepper. So we just want to get it nicely coated, okay? So this is gonna create, we don't want to necessarily roast it, but we want to par bake it, okay? So like when you're making a pie, you par bake your crust so that when you put your inside filling in, it doesn't bubble up and create any air pressure between the pan and the actual crust. So this is the same thing. We're just gonna kind of par bake this down. So when it's set to your plate, you're able to just cut through with a fork or knife and just eat it, okay? So we're gonna put this in the oven for maybe 7 to 10 minutes. Just eyeballing it. All ovens cook at, different temperatures. So you guys just wanna be aware of that. And so we're gonna come back to our stations after that. I'll give you guys a minute. So if you're following at home, like I was just explaining, we're gonna par bake off of our bell pepper, just so that when we put it on our plate, it's really easy for us to cut into and enjoy the bite. We don't want it to be fresh, right? Because that texture is gonna be a lot different from our cooked rice and our vegetables and meat, okay? So we're gonna preserve your top, because we're gonna add this inside. So don't discard the top of your bell pepper, okay, guys? All right, so next step, we're gonna take our leftover. Are you guys still putting stuff in the oven? No problem. Couple more minutes. All right, guys. So with your leftover top, you want to go around the green part, okay? And you want to take off the excess bell pepper because we're going to chop that down as fine as possible because we're going to add that into our bell pepper. I'm just going to go ahead and give mine a rough chop to get it as brunoise as possible. And when I say that, that means a small dice. We've been going over our cuts every week. Last week we used Python. This week we're going to be using brunoise. We're going to also be chopping down our onion to the small dice. Okay, guys? So if you're following along at home, I just was going over some of our knife cuts that we've been going over during the week. Last week we were dealing with Python cuts. They're about a 1/4 inch thick on each side, long on each side. And now these are about 1/8 of an inch dice for brunoise. It's a small dice. You can see that. It doesn't have to be perfect, but like I said, we like to cook our vegetables perpendicular because we know that they're all cooking at the same time. Good job, guys. Be careful with my gloves. I'll be like, oh, oh my gosh, when I was watching the chocolate, the school of chocolate, and it's like this finger. Yes. Somebody's always getting cut. It's like everything never goes. Yeah, that's just what it is. Right? They like trying to be top silly. Right. Right. So you guys should have a nice amount of bell pepper left over. We're gonna go directly into cutting our onions. Now we want to keep it like the same amount. So in my head, I feel like you guys probably got about 1/8 of a cup, right, Miss Jackie, bell pepper. So we're gonna do the same amount with our onion, okay, guys? And you guys, shame on Chef Max today because I don't have any fresh garlic. Slap me on the word. Oh, you know what? You guys give me 1 second. I just want garlic. All right, guys. I got garlic. I'm gonna pass this around, start to mix Jackie. Whoa, Carrie. I'm sorry. Oh, you good? Probably some that. So today when we like leave from our oven, we'll make sure that we don't have any oil or anything at the bottom. All right, guys. So go ahead and add a garlic clove to this recipe. Careful, Miss Jackie, you got it. Careful. I know. You don't have to. Now, if it's your food. So if you want to take them off, I'm gonna take mine off. Oh, yeah. You're fine. Yeah, there was some fat or something at the bottom. Yeah. So we're gonna discontinue that oven today. There's another one here. All right, guys. So I'm catching up with everybody with my onion. I'm behind now. I have more. Two. Oh, great. Yes. All right, guys. So we're gonna do the same diet on our onion. We're gonna use about half of onion, but I'm gonna use only half of this, about a quarter, and I'm gonna dice it down. Okay. I don't know if you guys. I'm sorry about the voice in the background. Oh. Oh yeah. They are. They passed me. All right, guys. So I got a nice small dice on my onion. So with your garlic, guys, you want to make sure you mix it down very well. You don't want to bite into a big old bite of garlic, so mix it down very, very well. All right. And it's okay if you guys combine all of these together because we're going to go in the pot together, okay? Not a problem. So at this point, I'm going to check on my bell pepper just to make sure it's not cooking all the way down. We don't want it to get limp, okay? We want it to keep its shape, but we want it to be firm to bite, okay? Put it. All right, great, guys. I hear a lot of chopping back there. All right. Okay, more. All right, guys. So done with our bell pepper, our onion, and our garlic, our next step is we're gonna be taking our thyme sprig off of the stem, and we're gonna be adding it right into that mixture as well, okay? So you can simply just move your finger back, your fingers reverse on the stem like this, and then your leaves will just come off, okay? Thyme is really good. It's what I call an herb of essence. It gives a lot of flavor, especially to seafood. If you're making any type of fish, bouillon, gumbo, dressing, if you're doing any type of gravy, thyme is really good to add to that. Even if you're not going to mix it down and take it off the stem, it's good to just leave in there with like a, herbs of Provence to like kind of wrap it around with the parsley, your thyme, and drop it in. But it's like one of my favorite herbs. Especially like I said, anything that's going to take your seafood. So you guys should have about 3 to 4 stems. So make sure you guys are getting all of that in there. Yes. No. The thyme. Not the parsley. Okay. So I'm gonna give you guys some time to catch up. I'm just gonna go ahead and linger. So like I was saying, we're going over some thyme. This is fresh thyme. If you're at home and you're going over this recipe with us, if you don't have any fresh thyme, you're more than welcome to use dry thyme. It comes powdered, it comes in leaf form. So you can definitely use that as a substitution. Okay. And we're going to be working with some curly parsley. This is not Italian parsley. This one, I don't know why the Italian one is flat leaf and this one's just called curly. I don't know what part of the world it's supposed to be from, but whatever. This is curly leaf parsley. This is very common in your Holy Trinity when you're making gumbo. We add this with our onion, our bell pepper, our parsley, garlic. I like to add red pepper flakes to mine because I like to spice it up all the time. But we're going to be going ahead and adding this to our vegetables too, but we're going to mix this down, okay? Good job, baby. So move your cutting board over to work for you because you don't want to work off of it because you'll hurt yourself, okay? So you want to turn it and center it to you in the middle. Oh, yeah. All right, so now, once we're finished with that, Janelle's coming around and helping you guys get caught up. The next thing will be our thyme if you guys haven't done that process yet. And lastly will be our curly parsley. If you're in the front, I see you guys have already started on that. So we're just gonna mince down our parsley and we're gonna add it right into that mix as well. So when I'm doing my parsley, I like to kind of gather it and roll it, just so it's easier for me to work with before I start mincing it down. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead. Once you guys are finished with your vegetable process, let's go ahead and remove the bell peppers from the oven. They should be nice and far baked at this point. You guys should have a hot hand at the station. If not, if Janelle is ready, she will come around with one. one. Okay, perfect. It still kept the shape. Okay. So you guys can see it still kept the shape. It's caramelizing around. All vegetables have some type of amount of sugar in it. So it starts to caramelize with the oil, okay? So like you see, it's keeping the shape. It's nice. I can poke my finger in it, so I'm able to put my teeth into it. Right? So I'm gonna let this hang out right here. So for a second. All right, guys. So I'm gonna pass along another tray for you guys because I'm gonna need you to remove your vegetables from your cutting board, okay? Because now we're gonna work on chopping down our sausage. Our sausage is gonna be chopped down very small dice, raw, just like our bell peppers and our onions. We just want to keep everything perpendicular because we're working with rice, okay? And so, we don't want to have these big chunks of vegetables and then we got these little granules of rice. We want to keep everything so that it can fit on the spoon, okay? Perfect. All right. So once you guys have your cutting board cleaned off, I'll give you guys a couple more minutes and we'll move on to dicing down our sausage and then we'll get to cooking. Yeah. All right, guys. So we're getting ready to start our process of chopping down our sausage. I like the shape of this one better. It's easier to work with. Okay, so I'm gonna cut this in half. All right, guys. So let's get ready to cut down this sausage. All right, so if you guys have your sausage like this, right? We're gonna bring it to our cutting board. We're gonna split it into two halves like so. All right. So we're gonna split it into two halves, cutting it vertically down the middle. All right. All right. So now I'm going to chop that 3 more times. All right. So now I have 4 slices like this. All right. I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side. All right. And now I'm going to take them horizontally and now I'm going to chop them vertically. This is gonna make my small dice. So once you chop them down again. All right. So now I have all my little small dice right here. See on my cutting board. And I'm just gonna add this back into my pan with my chopped chicken because my chicken is already cooked, but it's flash frozen. So we just need to bring that up to 165 degrees, which means we're not cross-contaminating anything. All right? So if you guys have any questions on the cutting? No. Everybody's doing well? All right. All right, guys. Our next step is going to be to get some nice color on this meat, right? We need some color on this meat. It's too bare. We need to get something on. So we're getting ready to turn our skillets on. We're gonna add our fat. You guys should have about 2 tablespoons of olive oil at your station. We're gonna coat our pan with the olive oil. And we are gonna cut it on. And you guys know I like to cut on the blower if I'm setting the pan on. So we're gonna put the blower on to 1. Make sure that we're practicing kitchen safety, keeping the fumes down in here. Sorry, this is not a trash. All right. So today we're going to be learning a little bit about SUC or soup, S-U-C. Miss Jackie, I'm pretty sure you know what that means, okay? So when you're cooking a protein in a hot skillet, you always have some remnants in there, right? So you have like your seasoning, you got a little bit of protein left over from the chicken being seared or beef, pork, what have you. So once you deglaze your pan with liquid, and all of that stuff that scrapes up from the bottom of the pan, all those little remnants and tidbits, that's called SUC, right? But that's good stuff. We don't want to get rid of that. We might reduce it down with like a broth or alcohol, but we don't want to really completely get rid of that flavor, right? So we're going to be doing that today. Once we sear off our protein, we're going to be adding in our vegetables, and then once we deglaze the chicken stock, you'll see what I mean, okay? All right, cool. So your fire should be getting nice and hot. You guys know that I want to hear it when you drop your meat down, okay? So you guys are paying attention over the phone or virtually. We're getting ready to start searing our meat off. I was just going over SUC, which is the good stuff at the bottom of the pan. Once you deglaze that after you sear, okay? So we're getting ready to drop our meat down. All right, guys. I'm dropping in. You guys hear it? All right. Giving you guys a couple more minutes. We're getting you guys set up with a pan. Oh, I have one right here. Sorry. Sorry about that. This one is actually better. Olive oil right here. Sorry, that's not going. All right. So we got our chicken in there. It's working. Yes. Those proteins are going down. You guys have a spoon at your station to move around your protein. You know, coming around. All right. So we're looking for some color, okay? We want to make sure that we're getting some nice color on our chicken, guys. And what I mean by that, like, you want to see some brown, okay? We want to get some good color on our chicken. All right, guys, we're watching. Guys, all right. All right. So we want to make sure that we're thoroughly getting that ice chill off of the pre-cooked chicken. It is cooked, however, it's been flash frozen, so the inside is cold, okay? So we want to make sure that we're going to bring that temperature up to about 165 degrees. Okay, so if you got a nice sear on all your meat, it's got a nice color on it. At this point, you can go ahead and add in your vegetables. But you want to bring your heat down to between 3 and 4 because we do not want to scorch all of our herbs. All right, people? All right, right. So I'm adding in my veggies. You want to make sure all right, so it's coming here. Our next step is to wait because I'm going fast. But you guys want to make sure your vegetables are in there. You're constantly working the pan because your garlic, your thyme, and your parsley will scorch and you will be upset. All right, so let's move around. And I appreciate you guys coming down today in the rain. I know it's like hard to get up and get like that energy, so we appreciate you guys coming down today. All right, guys. So our next step, we're gonna add in that tomato paste. All right? See it? We're gonna add that in. Yes. We have 1 tablespoon of tomato paste, add that in. And that's gonna give us that color, okay? We need that nice tomato and move around in the pot, wait on down between our vegetables. All right? Yes. So once that's in there, you want to get that married in there. Bring your heat up a little bit. All right. And if you look at your station, you have 8 ounces of what we call parboiled rice. Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben is your best friend when you're making jambalaya because jambalaya is a type of dish where you're cooking the rice maybe like twice on this jack. You go hard cook the rice, you go cook it again, then you go, get your flavor in it. So it's a good rice because it kind of keeps up its form, right? It doesn't get all mushy like jasmine rice or long grain rice. Brown rice is another good rice to use if you're making a jambalaya or anything that needs to be cooked more than once. Okay, so we're gonna go. Okay, so I'm getting my 1 cup of rice. You guys already have it at the station. We're gonna drop our 1 cup of rice in. Yes. Your veggies are seared. Okay. Now, if you are on that step with me, I'm lowering my heat, right? I'm lowering my heat all the way between 2 and 3. I don't want my rice to get overcooked. I don't want it to stick to the bottom of the pan. We're gonna add in our chicken stock as well. Hear that? That isn't deflating the pan, okay, guys? And you're gonna also add in all your seasoning. So your Cajun seasoning, your black pepper, your garlic powder, all in. Feel me? All right. Now you're gonna mix this all around. Yes. Yes, Lord. Okay. Yes, Lord. Yeah. The queso after this. Okay. Sorry. So I'm just gonna fold this in. I've added in my veggies. They got seared in after my meat. I added in my rice and my tomato. That goes in with the chicken stock. So your very last step after you saute your vegetables, you're gonna add in your tomato paste. You're gonna marry the tomato paste all over the pan, making sure it's spread amongst the vegetables and the protein. Once that process is done, you're gonna add in your rice. You're gonna fold the vegetables and everything with your rice, and you're gonna deglaze it with your chicken stock, and you're gonna add in your seasoning. You're gonna fold your seasoning in, all right? And then that's that. All right, so I'm got that. So I'm gonna need, you know. You already know. It smells so good here. All right, so just finishing up here. Plate. Bell pepper. And I'm going to stir it. All right, guys, thank you for today. We'll see you guys tomorrow. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. The recipe will be